Welcome back. Today I am so excited to share the first episode of a new Celiac Sarah Explores series, Gluten Free Guides, where I will be sharing my experience in all the different countries that I visited with celiac disease. Today we are starting off with Barcelona, Spain, because it was the first country that I visited with celiac disease back in January of 2022. This was actually just 2 months after officially being diagnosed with celiac disease, which is a little bit crazy, but it just goes to show how accommodating the city can really be.
This is their allergen menu. It goes through all the allergens: gluten, crustaceans, eggs, fish, peanuts. And it gives a green dot if it's free, yellow if it contains traces, and a red dot if it contains it.
This bird doesn't know what gluten-free is.
2 smoothies, chocolate banana coconut and coconut.
Oh yeah, that tastes like a real live coconut.
If you're planning a trip to Barcelona or you're just interested in learning more about celiac travel, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Sarah. In 2021, I was diagnosed with celiac disease at 23 years old. I had a really hard time processing this major life change, and I thought I couldn't do the things I loved, like traveling. But I've been determined to continue to live life to the fullest, and since my diagnosis, I've been able to travel to 21 countries. Now I plan on traveling all around the world and finding the best gluten-free food along the way. Like I said, I went to Barcelona in January of 2022, and currently it's September of 2023, so I just want to acknowledge that things change, restaurants can open and close, but I still believe that Barcelona is a great city to visit for celiac disease. One thing that has not changed is the Celiac Association of Catalonia, which is a great resource for planning your gluten-free trip to Barcelona. They have a website with different resources and different restaurants that have been third-party accredited. As always, my usual tips apply. Always bring snacks, book your gluten-free meal on your flight ahead of time, get a gluten-free translation card, and learn some specific phrases in the local language to help you out along the way. For my first ever international trip with celiac disease, I packed so many snacks. I literally went to the grocery store and got all the packaged items that I could get and stuffed them in my backpack for just the 5-day trip. I didn't follow my own tips at the time because I didn't know that I needed to book my gluten-free meal ahead of time. So when I was on the long-haul flight, thankfully I had all my snacks packed. But just know that you can get a gluten-free meal on the airlines. Don't forget that. Also for Barcelona, you might want to get 2 different translation cards, one in Spanish and the other one in Catalan. And some helpful terms can be sin gluten, without gluten, trigo, wheat, and celiaca, celiac, the female version. And now onto the good stuff, the gluten-free restaurants that I was able to visit on my trip there. I'm so excited to share these. Starting off with Gula Sana, a gluten-free cafe. We had some of the best meals ever.
So we're at Gula Sana right now, continuing on our gluten-free Barcelona tour. It's a gluten-free cafe, and the menu has plenty of options. You can see where it says gluten-free or other allergies. I got the Eggs Benedict, KJ got the Huevos Rotos, and we also got a little appetizer, croquettes, as an appetizer or a two-share.
They have breakfast, they have lunch, they have dessert, and we definitely went multiple days, so we got to try a few different foods.
Now we're off to get some lunch. Guess where we're going? We've been there before.
The Eggs Benedict was delicious, and so were the croquettes. Oh, those were so good. In addition to all of the desserts we got, extra credit because I know I already said it was a gluten-free cafe, but being 100% gluten-free and not having to worry about cross-contamination is just the best. Next up is Jansana, which is a gluten-free bakery that had so many gluten-free pastry options. I was actually in heaven. We ended up getting a few to go, including a tiramisu, some cookies, and different cakes, and they were all absolutely delicious.
We just went to Jansana, which is another gluten-free bakery. We got a cinnamon roll, a chocolate croissant, and tiramisu. Very excited. They had a bunch of bread in there. We don't really want to cook anything, so we didn't grab any bread, but highly recommend. Everything looked really good.
We also visited Mezzi Pizza a couple of times because they had delicious gluten-free pasta and gluten-free pizza. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Gluten-free Italian food is some of the easiest to find all around the world. They also had dessert, which was pretty good.
We just went to an amazing restaurant called Mezzi Sin Gluten. It is awesome because it's a 100% gluten-free facility, so everything on the menu I can eat. I got carbonara pasta, KJ got Hawaiian pizza. Both were delicious. So good, in fact, that we got takeout 2 Hawaiian pizzas.
And just make sure you're visiting the right location because only 2 out of 3 of the Mezzi Pizza locations are 100% gluten-free, So just double check the address and make sure you're going to the right one. And what's a trip to Spain without getting paella? So I had to find some gluten-free paella. I did find it at this one place and we had an overall good experience there, but we definitely ate towards the later side, probably 9 or 10 p.m. when we had an early flight the next morning. Just be mindful of that when you're eating out in Europe, but specifically Barcelona. Dinners tend to be later in Spain, so just be mindful of that. The paella was delicious when it finally came out though. And then I wanted to give an honorable mention to M2 Pizza. It's a dedicated gluten-free restaurant with a lot of options, but we sadly didn't have time to go on this 5-day trip, and I'm sure there are so many other restaurants that I could give an honorable mention to, but this one was specifically on my list that I missed. So I think that just means I have to go back to Barcelona and really dive into the gluten-free food vibe so I can get the best information for you. Also, a quick note on grocery shopping. We were only there for 5 days, so we really didn't do a big haul, but we stayed in Barcelona, which was a really cute neighborhood, and when we popped into a few of the grocery shops, they did have gluten-free options in a separate section.
This was a snack at the grocery store, sin gluten. It's little kid dino, it's basically Dino Pirates booty. That's fun.
So what do you think? Is Barcelona on your bucket list? If you like this guide, please subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss any future gluten-free guides. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.